Hey everybody, it's Amy Graham, the Badass Valkyrie, and today I was going to do week 4 of the bullet journal method with One Book July. I wanted to show you my reflections, and I've been fairly consistent with them all. A couple of times I've missed either the morning or the evening, but overall it has gone really well. And the one of the main things that I have gotten out of One Book July this year is that I really do like this to help me with things on the go when I don't have my Hobonichi with me. So this has really helped with everything. If I had a question about it, if I needed to look something up, whatever it was, because it does have the guide. It has different articles that you can look at and go through, and you can put your login. You can either put a task, a note, or an event. And now with these, it only lasts for 72 hours. So you have to put it into your bullet journal or it disappears. So, but overall, I really have enjoyed having this on my phone. And as I said in previous videos, this was actually on my iPad, which is what you guys are filming. I film on. But having it here has been so wonderful. So I'm glad I finally jumped and put it on my phone. Now this is $2.99 in the Play Store or the App Store or wherever you want to get it. They do have it for iPhone and for Android. And I've gotten a couple of questions where, do you have to use this with the bullet journal, or do you have to use the bullet journal with this? No, you don't. This is something completely independent. It's just a reminder. And using the morning and afternoon or evening reflections has been helpful to have that reminder pop up on my phone, because my phone is always with me. So it is something that I have actually loved having. Even though it's electronic, it has reminded me, oh, I need to get in and add a note or something or a task or an event to my Hobonichi. Which is, for all intents and purposes, is my bullet journal now. So, but I just, again, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that, but this app has helped tremendously. And it doesn't take over, which is something that I have really appreciated. It's not like it's all Google Calendar or it's all, whatever. And then you kind of like forget one or the other. This is simply a tool to help remind me of I need to put whatever it is into my Hobonichi, because I don't carry this with me everywhere I go. It sits on my desk at work or on my desk at home, and I get into it when I am sitting at my desk. It's always open, but again, I'm not always at my desk, and I don't take this with me in my handbag everywhere. So having this, so I can go, oh yeah, I need to put that event in, or massage envy call, and I need to change the appointment or whatever. I can put that in here really quick with my phone. Then I can migrate that into my Hobonichi. So there is that. Oh, let me close that out. And so that aside, I have promised people this for a few weeks now, and I wanted to show you how I do my morning routine. But first off, I want to make sure that I go through and show you week 4 in the bullet journal method. And I have this housed in my Chic Sparrow A5 Daphne cover, and it's the deluxe, and I love this cover so much. I have January through June Hobonichi, because I use the Hobonichi Cousin of Vec. And so I have both halves for the year right now. And I usually do this probably through September. By September, I can usually put just a notebook in or something like that. But I don't use the full cousin because I have these options. It's the same exact book as the whole cousin, but it's split into 2. So if I want to do this, I can. If I don't, I can take this one out or take this one out, which a lot of times I do when it's sitting on my desk. Just because this has a smaller profile, I will take this out and just leave it open on whatever page that I'm doing, and that's it. The pen that I'm currently using is the Sarasa Clip by Zebra, and it's a 0.4, which is usually either a 0.4 or a 0.38 is what I love to use in my cousins. I do write small. I do. And I when I write in cursive, I write a little bit bigger. And so I like to have a bigger nib. But when I do my planning and all of that, it's always in block print. And so I prefer having a thinner tip. So let me go ahead and show you week 4, which was the 30th week of the month. And this is how week 4 ended up. So I have not done a lot of my to-dos this week just because it's been a hectic week, and I've been prepping for Greg's birthday, and I had to get, there was just a lot of things. So these will get migrated forward. And when I do that, I just do the arrows so that you can see that. So the things that I did not have to do the drop the car off because I canceled that just because my schedule couldn't handle it. If I did it, it got checked off. If I didn't, I move it forward. And so those tasks will get put here. And it's Monday morning right now. And so I will end up putting those right now. I won't, torture you guys watching me write that out, but I will put that here. And so that will move forward. But this is how the week ended up in my weekly view. Now, again, I have my year in pixels taped here into the front. This is what was in my bullet journal, and one of the things that I actually went back to my bullet journal for the most. I enjoy having this in my bullet journal just because I can look and see when I've had issues. This year, there have been a lot more issues than there were last year, unfortunately, but that's okay. Then this is my, this is just a future log, and I use it for major dates just so I can plan ahead. And then this is my 2020 future log. So I have gone in and put in birthdays for next year, for 2020. I don't really have any events right now that are planned. But again, as I've said before, things will start coming in about September. But the one thing I love about the Hobonichi, especially Cousin of Beck, is this ends in December, but always gives you a 6 months ahead. So that's what I love, and I can put that in there. And this is just basically the future log. And then how I'm using the monthly view is how it would be your monthly log. So in your bullet journal, when you have the monthly log, you usually write or you notate 1 through 31 or 1 through 30, and that's your monthly log. Instead of me doing that, I'm actually putting it in the squares for my monthly view. I'm putting my monthly goals here, or to-dos, things that I need to get done in the month overall, and then I can pull from these when I need to. And then things that I've been waiting on are here, and so I could have gone over into here if I needed to, but since today is Monday the 29th, I am doing pretty well. I can also forward plan anything that I have in the future here. In the month of August, the one thing I do know that I am going to start doing is right now I've been doing a 14-12 fast. I go from, here, I'll show you. In my weekly view, I have, well, this is actually perfect. This is this week's setup. So I've been going from 9:30 to 7:30 has been the window that I am using as my fast or eating window. I hate the word feeding window. It's as a former giant fat girl, I'm like, I hate that term. I don't know why, but I hate it. So the window that I allow myself to eat has been from 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And that has been a 14:12. 14:10. Sorry, not 14:12. 14:10 window. So I fast 14 hours, and then I have a window that I can eat for a 10-hour window. In August, I'm actually changing that to 16:8. I will fix that. I'm like, I've lost my mind. It's a 16:8 window. So I'll be fasting from 7:30 at night, because I can't really shorten that time frame otherwise I'll just be eating when I'm at work, and I hate that. So if I stop eating at 7:30, I still get time to have dinner with Greg if I wanted to do that. He and I both eat a very small dinner, so we don't really, it's not a big deal for us. Our bigger meals that we have together are usually during the weekends. And so 7:30 is a pretty good stop. And that's when for the past couple of months, I have been used to that. What is going to change is, instead of starting my breakfast at 9:30, I'm going to wait until 11:30. I have no idea how this is going to go. The 16:8 window or fasting period, when I tried it, this is what I started with back in, I believe, April is when I started doing intermittent fasting, or time restricted eating, whatever you want to call it. And I found that during the 16:8 that I was doing, which was, I think I started at like, let me look. I think I had it marked in here. Maybe I did. I don't think I actually, nope, here it is. I was doing 9 to 8. I started eating breakfast at 9. At times I was doing 8:30. But here's where I started adding this in so that I can kind of figure it out. But when I was doing the 16:8, when I first started back in April, I found that during that 8-hour window, I was eating as much as possible. It's like I never stopped eating. And the problem with intermittent fasting with someone who's had gastric bypass is I can't eat a big meal. I can't. It's physically impossible. So you have to eat all of these little small meals just to make sure that you have enough sustenance to go forward. But with a 2-ounce stomach, or in my case, I have a 4-ounce stomach, it is harder because during that 8 hours, I have to get in enough meals or enough food to sustain me for the 16-hour window. And what I found when I first started this, because I wasn't used to the fasting way, I guess, was that I would gorge myself. And I would just be overly full and constantly eating during that 8-hour window. Now that I pulled back and I started, I think I started with 12 and 12, and then I went to 13, 11, and then 14 10s. And then that's what I'll be ending here is the 14:10, and I'll jump to 16:8 here. So, in hopes that I do not gorge myself during that time frame. And what I've put here is like, I will break fast, which is breakfast. Break fast. I know. It was an epiphany to me when I looked at that. I was like, oh my God. And so, I know, kind of crazy. I'll break fast at 11:30. And then by anywhere between 2:30 and 3:30, I'll have my lunch. And then at 4:30, between 4:30 and 5:30, I'll try to eat my dinner, unless Greg and I have plans, and then it'll go till 7:30, or depending on my commute and my schedule and all of that, it will kind of have to be adjusted. I will just stop eating at 7:30. Starting in August on the 19th, my yoga class goes from Tuesdays to Thursdays, and it jumps from Mondays to Wednesdays. So the 5:30 to 6:20 is normal, 2 days a week for yoga, but the class changes in the fall semester, so it goes on starts on Mondays and Wednesdays, which I've been doing my longer run on Wednesdays, so it's 5K Wednesday, except for this month because of my neck. But I'll just have to change that probably to Thursday. We'll see what happens. During the winter time is a much different training schedule for me, and again, today is my first nerve block this morning. I will do that in a couple of hours, and I have no idea what to expect. So I am trying to be like water and just let whatever happens, happens. So anyway, sorry, tangent. But this is what this week looks like. And again, I'll start the 16/8 fasting on Thursday. So that's the weekly view. And so this is what the weeks have looked like throughout the month since we started One Book July. And I have loved this. Absolutely love this. And so I put my weekly tasks onto the side here and what I want to get done. And if I don't get it done, I migrate it forward. So there's that. So then we skip to the dailies. And this is how the dailies have looked through July. And we will get to this past week. And so here is Monday when it started. And this is kind of where I have started to decide, you know, I'm trying to finish up Wabi Sabi, the book that I've been reading. And I've gone back to it several times. And I'm trying to let being imperfect and the imperfection be okay. I found out some very interesting things about me in this past week, and it has opened my eyes to a couple of things that if those of you who are in the Shakespeare website or Facebook group, we've been talking about enneagrams, and I had no idea what that was, and going in and finding out that I am the challenger, which is number 8, and that I like to be in control. It's not that I didn't really know that. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together. So I'm just trying to go with the flow and let this be what it is. But I will say that the bullet journal method in my Hobonichi Cousin Avec has been absolutely wonderful and mind-blowing, and I love it, and I will continue to do it this way. I'm not going to go back to color blocking my time or anything like that. This has worked so well that for right now, this is what I want. And so I had on Wednesday here in Utah, it's Pioneer Day, and that is when the pioneers came to Utah and saw Zion and were like, this is the place. And so it's a state holiday. And so and it's literally usually bigger in fireworks and all of that than 4th of July. But, you know, anyway. So I had that day off. I went and had lunch with Greg. And then this is how the week ended. And this was Saturday. This was Sunday. I did my week in review. One thing, trying to let go of everything, is that my 30 miles per month did not happen this month. Just like it didn't happen in February. And it has been a struggle to just be okay with that. Such a struggle. It's like, I want to get it in. But because I haven't been able to take pain medication because of today, because I was hell-bent. I was like, okay, next week, I have such and such number of miles that I need to run to get my 30 miles in this month. And it hit me like a brick wall that I couldn't. So instead of feeling like a failure and feeling like I didn't get what I needed to get done, I re-looked at everything, and my goal at the beginning of January was to run 30 miles a month. I didn't get it in February, and I didn't get it in July. So one in the first half of the year, one in the second half of the year. So what I'm going to do, instead of looking at that as a negative and feeling like I've failed, I'm looking at it as a whole, which 30 times 12 would be 360 miles for the year, which is huge. That's what I'm going to focus on going forward till the end of the year, is not 30 miles a month, but I'm going to try to do 30 miles a month. I've got to try to do 38 miles a month. Like I said, after today, with this first nerve block and then my second nerve block and then going in and burning the roots for my neck, I have no idea what's going to happen. So we're just going to take that as it is and go forward. So that's why I'm embracing imperfection and just doing the best that I can. So, but I did get a 5K done on yesterday morning, and that was the last time I could take pain medication, because this block I have to be able to determine how the pain levels are and all of that between this block and then the next block that I get done, because they're doing two different nerves, two different nerve roots. So we will see. But this is today so far. Again, I'm not doing any kind of breaking down or anything like that. It is simply a dated blank page. And it has been so nice to be able to do this. So I have started working or putting in some working on goals. And again, going to the 16-8. I had thought about going in, because eventually I want to put in a 24-hour fast every week. But I'm not ready for that. And so I may start that in September. I've already got a sheet there for September's possible goals. So we'll see. Don't know. But I need to find a workout routine that I can stick with. And depending on how today goes. I also need to start working harder on getting to bed by 10:30. It has fluctuated the past couple of weeks just because I've been stressed. And gaming is a stress relief for me. And yeah, I've done a little bit more of that than I should be doing. And I need to get my schedule back to where I need it to be. And so that's the way the month is going. Or the week, this last week is gone. Now, I did want to go ahead and show you my morning routine. I love this little cover. It is the Meraki cover. It came out, I believe, in 2015 or 2016, and it is a Hobonichi cover. They had an A5 that was more of a peach color, but this is Happy Little Clouds, and I love my Happy Little Clouds. They make me happy. I open this up. There's my little Bob Ross right there. My planner, my woolly planner on Etsy. I did the Happy Little Cloud paperclip, and I love it. And this is probably going to stay the same way for 2020, just because every morning when I open this up, it makes me happy. So I have the A6, this is the A6 cover, and this is the weekly that I use for my Miracle Morning. And everything that I've pulled out in here is the Miracle Morning. So I'll talk about this particular book here in a minute, but this is from Hal Elrod. And every morning I do my savers, which is silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, which is journaling. I am particularly proud because I have done this every week, every day, and it has made me so happy that I have been consistent with this. So I go in, I write, if I took my probiotic in the mornings, because it's one that you actually have to take it, it has to be refrigerated. So I write that down. I write the day when I wake up, and what I do for exercise in the morning. And I'm going to start adding some strength training back in, but because of my neck, this is kind of all it's ended up being this past month. But I also write down here at the bottom, and this is how it looks as you lay it out. anything that sticks out that is bothering me, and this is all health-wise. So if my neck is giving me a problem, if I've had allergy problems, if I've broken out in hives or whatever, anything out of the ordinary, so that if I needed to go back and go, one of the prime examples was I figured out when I fell down the stairs on January 5th. And I had noted that. And then I would note how my neck got progressively worse. And having that in here has helped me tremendously to kind of see how it has progressed pain-wise. And so that was tremendously helpful for my doctor. And so if there's anything out of the ordinary, I put that here. If I wake up and I am stuffed up, or I have a migraine, or, my hands are stiff, or anything like that, I note that here, and that helps so much. But that's all I put in here. Then I flip over to the monthly view. And again, this is just kind of like it is in my Hobonichi. And this is where I actually got the idea, because I was doing it here anyway. And it's just a snapshot of something major. If I did my runs, whatever, how much I got for the month. And I just put this paper clip here. That way I can just flip right to it. And I just make a quick note. And that's it. And then I go into my dailies. And as you can see, it has been done every day. And I love it. About halfway through let's see, when did I start this? This was started on March 19th. I found something that was called Be Free to Be You. And it's a website, and they have all of these questions per month. And I didn't find it until March 19th. And so I started writing that second question down there to actually just something else to add to this. But up here is, this is the Miracle Morning Journal. And it's by Hal Elrod. And every week it has a daily prompt. And it's not really, you can kind of interpret it any way you want. Like, I will focus less on what I can get and more on what I can give. And you can journal about that. You can, put a one-sentence, one-liner, whatever you want to do. I've had this book for 2 years now, and I have not written in it because, one, I hate the paper, but I use it in here. And you could do this with any journal prompts. I just really like these. And again, I've added that other question or prompt. So sometimes I make a little drawing, whatever I wanted to do. And I just make a note of it. And this is my morning. It's kind of my version of morning pages. It just gets me thinking. And I did not do it this morning because usually I do this a month at a time. And I go in and write it in. And I realized that, oh yeah, I forgot that I did it. I didn't want to write in the full week or only part of the week. So I've got to go back in and fill out the month for August. But this is what I do. And so, it's not a huge amount, but it's just enough in the morning to get me thinking, and that I can contemplate, and it's part of my meditation and scribing and all of that. And so it's just how I do my miracle morning. And I love it. Again, this is the only book that I have not changed in over a year. It is exactly the way I want it. And it is part of my morning routine. And I love the way it works for me. So there you have it. And this, again, I will link the Miracle Morning Journal down below. You can get it on Amazon. His books are great. And he also talks about the level 10 life and that sort of thing. And you can kind of go into that, how it affects you or how it works for you. But if you've done any version of the Miracle Morning, let me know down below, because I would love to know if you've tried it, if it worked for you, or even if it didn't work for you. This has worked for me so well. every morning, if I don't for some reason get to it in the morning, if I've woken up late or something, I will do it in the afternoon when I get home or in the evening before bed. But that is a very rare occasion. Just because it's part of my morning routine. It is part of my whole morning meditation, everything. I do an oracle card pull every morning, and it just kind of works for me. But you have to figure out what works for you. And what, some people have morning devotionals, some people do morning pages, some people do, whatever. Get out of the bed, grab a cup of coffee and go. How I make my coffee even is part of my morning ritual, morning meditation, all of that. So one of these days I will take you with me and do a vlog and show you how my whole morning works. But this is a very important part of my morning, and it has not changed in over a year and a half. So I enjoy it. It is part of my life, and it makes me feel calm. So there you have it, my update on book 4 or week 4 of One Book July, and a little insight into my morning. I will be doing a final wrap up either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week for One Book July. So there will be one more video coming to kind of give you an overview and my thoughts on everything. But, spoiler alert, I've loved this year. So let me know how your One Book July is doing. Let me know if you're doing the Miracle Morning, or, what your morning routine might be, because I'm kind of curious. I've added things over that year and a half since I've, started this, and I used to get up at 4:30 in the morning, and then sleep became my number one priority above all. But I'm still able to do my Miracle Morning as well. So, if you've been able to make it work, great. If you haven't, is there a way that you could? It took me several months to figure out how I could do my morning routine and still get to work on time, but also have that calm and quiet. And it's my coffee and quiet time in the morning. When you see it in my bullet journal or my Hobonichi, coffee and quiet is my morning time. That is my morning meditation, and Greg's usually asleep, and Tyr and Heimdall will come and visit me on various times. Tyr loves to just sit with me, and he usually always puts his paw somewhere on me. Either he's sniffing my wet hair or whatnot, but it is my quiet time and meditation time and time with them, and I love that. And so, yeah, there you have it. It's a little bit longer video this time. Sorry about that, but I will try to make it, a little more condensed as to specifically One Book July next time. But I wanted to incorporate that because it is part of my day, and it has been part of One Book July as well. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and wish me luck for my first nerve block, and that this is the road to recovery and getting back to normal. And we will see. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.